We welcome you to the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. And we welcome you inside a sold-out Baum-Walker Stadium. It is do or die for both these squads. The rubber game of a three-game series between the Wolfpack of NC State and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Mike Morgan, Todd Walker, great to be with you. Should be a whole lot of fun here today in what has already been one of the more entertaining super regionals around. SEC Power Arkansas, NC State from the ACC. We had a blowout in game number one, and then all of a sudden the Wolfpack decided they're going to show off that prowess that they have all year at the plate. Hit 3 home runs in game 2, and you see what they've been able to do with runners in scoring position. NC State, though, did what they needed to do yesterday, and believe it or not, the team that scores first has lost both of these games thus far. The big story, Todd Walker, not only in this super regional, really throughout the country, the news that Kevin Kopps, who hasn't started a game all year long, will get the start today.
Well, that's impressive from a guy that threw 185 pitches last week in the regional. He had 2-3 scoreless inning saves in the SEC tournament, 7 scoreless to clinch the regionals last week, 3 appearances in the Fayetteville regional. 185 pitches you see right there, 69 in the SEC tournament, and 21 pitches last night to end that game. Here he is with the start today.
He brings new meaning to the term rubber arm. That's what he's been really throughout the season. This is his 33rd appearance, and he's been dominating in just about all of them. And speaking of dominating, we were reminded yesterday just how dominating this Wolfpack offense can be. They've got depth, they've got pop, number 1 in the ACC in average and runs scored. And Todd, they came through in a big way yesterday.
Yeah, watch out for the 7-hole Devontae Brown. He was the MVP of the Ruston Regional. And how about Jose Torres, the shortstop out of the 5-hole, has 2 home runs in 2 games so far in the Super Regional.
A whole lot of angst in the air. Arkansas wants to go back to Omaha for a 3rd consecutive year. We'll see if Kevin Kopps and the Razorbacks can get it done today. Welcome back to Fayetteville, Arkansas. 2 head coaches that can certainly feel the tension right now with Omaha on the line. Elliot Avent, he's been there once. Dave Van Horn has been there 8 times, 6 times with the Razorbacks combined. Over 2,200 career victories for these outstanding coaches. NC State will be the road team in this decisive game, so they will get a quick look at the nation's top college pitcher all season long. His name is Kevin Kopps, and Todd Walker, he is as good as they come.
We're going to find out today if he's the best pitcher in the country. He got used a lot in the regional last weekend, 185 pitches. He threw 21 pitches last night. You're going to see basically 2 throws out of Kevin Kopps. It's going to be, some call it a cutter, some call it a slider. I call it nasty. It's a gyro ball. Looks like a curveball on the screen, but it's got tight rate and a lot of depth. And then he's got 94 miles an hour in his back pocket for a fastball that's really a secondary pitch. Just shows you that. But mostly you're going to see that gyro ball from Kevin Kopps.
A familiar starting 9, a familiar batting order for NC State. Not much changes for the Wolfpack, and after yesterday's performance, why would it? Jose Torres, 2 home runs in the opening 2 games. And we will start things off with Austin Murr, then Tyler McDonough, and then the ACC's batting leader, Johnny Butler. We are underway from Baum-Walker Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Game 3, make or break for the Razorbacks and the Wolfpack. And a quick 2-0 start for Kopps on Austin Murr, who's 2 for 8 in this super regional. A run batted in. He has struck out twice. A junior out of the state of Minnesota. Kevin Kopps, his 33rd appearance of the year. His first start, although he has some numbers that would look like a starter, he's got 12 decisions. He's won all 12 of them, 12-0. A microscopic 0.66 earned run average. And there is the nastiness right there.
And this is a typical at bat you're going to see. He throws the first gyro just to get me over strike. Then he goes to work. He starts spinning it a little harder with a little more action. It hits the deck, and hitters have a tough time making contact after the first strike.
Swing and a miss, strike three.
The problem as a hitter is you've got to see it first. You've got to have a little muscle memory of what it looks like. So you usually take the first strike. Now you're 0-1. Kevin Kopps is so accurate with this pitch that he's going to throw it for strike one. And then, like I said, then comes the big spin rate on the gyro. It goes down and sideways and goes all kind of different directions. As a hitter, once you see it once, you think you got it timed up. But then he creates more depth to it and manipulates the pitch. And you see right there, it's just impossible almost to make contact.
Tyler McDonough is 1 for 8 in this Super Regional, and that's the kind of swing right there. I mean, that wasn't even close to contact, and you'll see a number of those type of swings today against Kevin Kopps. Ball and a strike now, the count on McDonough, the sophomore out of Ohio. He's 1 for 8 with an RBI so far in this Super Regional, tied for the team lead in home runs with 15. A lot of pop up and down this lineup for the Wolfpack. McDonough had an 11-game hitting streak snapped earlier in this Super Regional, but the numbers still gaudy. .342 on the year with 15 home runs and 44 knocked in. And a 3-ball count. Pitch and more of the filth supplied by Kopps.
That's how confident he is with that pitch. I mean, it's 3-1. Everybody in the world would throw a fastball. He comes back with that cutter slider, and now it's 3-2. You expect the same.
Kopps goes 6 feet, 200 pounds. Rears back, and a nice job by McDonough just to make contact. We mentioned that Kopps worked the game yesterday. He saw 6 NC State batters. Nobody was able to touch him in 2 clean innings of work. And that ball is hammered into right field, a base hit. McDonough strokes a single to right field.
And that's a little uncharacteristic for an at-bat from Kevin Kopps. Usually he gets ahead. You're 1-2, 2-2, whatever. You got 2 strikes on you, and he'll drop it off the table. Here, on 3-2, he just has to throw the one that he's just trying to get me over for a strike. That ball can be hit. You saw right there, Tyler McDonough turns it around for a base hit for the Wolfpack.
Now the 3-hole hitter, Johnny Butler. Butler 1 for 8, 3 strikeouts thus far in this Super Regional. Leading hitter on the team, leading hitter in the ACC at .378. Also can tap into a power supply that has provided 12 home runs and 46 driven in on the year. NC State, as we saw yesterday, when they do get on, they are aggressive on the bases, even against an elite catch and throw guy behind the plate in Opitz. They were 2 for 2 in stolen bases yesterday. 5 for 5 in the postseason is NC State in stolen bags. Kopps again got behind in the count. Now 2-1 on Johnny Butler.
Well, this is a Wolfpack offense that can really swing it. They can run. They're very athletic. They hit .290 as a team, and that's pretty impressive.
I mentioned Opitz, battles, and more. Great up the middle. So too is Christian Franklin, who will get his first start in this Super Regional. Again, he's been battling strep throat. 2-1 pitch is hammered to deep center. Backing up is Franklin. Franklin at the wall makes the catch. That ball was hit every bit of 400 feet. A very noisy out number 2.
The more you face a pitcher, the more it becomes a hitter's advantage. You start to see the muscle memory of the pitch. You start timing him up. Johnny Butler got an at bat against Kevin Kopps last night. Didn't do anything with it, but now he's seen 9 or 10 pitches. Squares that one up to center, but not enough. Franklin under it.
I mean, I realize it's only 1 hit and allowed out, but already NC State's got to feel pretty good about how this inning has started off.
Yeah, and that's the thing we want to see with Kevin Kopps is can he get 2 or 3 times through the order, again, throwing basically the 1 pitch. If the NC State hitters get a lot of looks at it and he's leaving that out over the plate, he can get hit.
Catching the outside corner there is Kopps. Ahead of the count now to Terrell Tatum. Tatum in the postseason tearing it up at .444. You see .320 on the year and 11 home runs.
Tries that pitch right on the outside corner. Isn't going to work. But again, as a hitter now with 2 strikes, you got to protect against the nastiest pitch you're going to see, which is the gyro. When he throws that fastball at 94, it looks like 104.
Tap to the left side, deep short. It's going to be Battles. And Battles will just put it in his back pocket.
Well, Battles went to his right here. He's looking at second base, doesn't see the timing, and doesn't want to throw it away. Just puts it in his back pocket, and that's better safe than sorry scenario. The last thing you want to do is throw it down the right field line.
So already some traffic on the diamond for Kevin Kopps, and here's Jose Torres. Torres jumps on the first one, hits it to third. And it's 5 unassisted for out number 3. Tom and Berkey, thank you very much, and we welcome everybody inside a sold-out Baum-Walker Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas. The Razorbacks and the Wolfpack in a make-or-break game. The winner goes to Omaha. The loser's season comes to a close. Mike Morgan alongside the 2-time All-American and former World Series MVP Todd Walker. Again, congratulations to the Volunteers, their first trip to Omaha in 16 years. And congratulations, for that matter, to Paul Mainieri. Over 1,500 wins and a brilliant 39-year career. These two teams have been playing some pretty brilliant baseball. It was all Arkansas in Game 1. NC State with a great bounce back yesterday in Game 2 to remind everybody they were the top hitting team in the ACC for a reason. And now, Todd Walker, as if there wasn't enough drama leading into a Game 3, we get the word a few hours before the first pitch that the most unhittable pitcher all year long, the SEC Pitcher of the Year and the presumptive favorite for the Golden Spikes Award, Kevin Kopps, in his 33rd appearance, gets the ball for his first start of the year. A little bit of a bumpy first inning, allowed 2 hits, but he did put a goose egg on the board, and we get to see Kevin Kopps for as long as he's effective.
Yeah, I think this is his game all the way through. They're expecting him to go 9 innings. He did get touched up a little bit, like you said, in the first. Didn't give up any runs. And I think you can expect him to get a little more dominant as the game goes on.
So we'll have plenty of chances to talk about Kevin Kopps. You probably already know quite a bit about him. You might not know as much about Matt Willadsen, just a freshman making his 13th start of the year, a 5-3 record, a 4.97 ERA. And safe to say, Todd, this is the biggest start of this young man's career.
Yeah, 6'3", 180 pounds, second year. So this is his first full year right-hander. He's not overpowering, but he's a big game pitcher. He pitched the Ruston Regional Championship game against Louisiana Tech. He pitched the ACC Championship game against Duke. In the game, they lost 1-0. How will he handle the atmosphere? Again, first full year for Matt Willadsen, but his boy yesterday did it. Sam Highfield threw great, and he's also the same age, and so maybe he learned a little bit from the start from Highfield yesterday.
He'll go up against an Arkansas lineup that was #1 in the SEC, #1 in the nation in home runs, #1 in the nation in walks, a rare combination that you'll find for any college baseball team. Christian Franklin back in the starting 9, cleaning up for the Hogs. Really, the biggest stories have been Robert Moore. Big Hit Moore has been on fire, and Charlie Welch as a starter has been incredibly hot for Arkansas. But overall, this lineup was somewhat silenced by NC State on the mound yesterday. We'll see if they can have a bounce-back performance today in Game 3. Goodhart, Wallace, and Brady Slavens to start things off for #1 ranked Arkansas here in the home half of the first inning. Strike on the inside corner from the wiry right-hander, Matt Wolfpack. Wolfpack will have to navigate through an Arkansas lineup that'll feature 4 hitters from the left side, including 2 out of the first 3 with Goodhart and Slavens. Goodhart hitting .270 on the year. Swing and a miss. And the first strikeout for Wolfpack as the throw will finish him off at first base. 1 up, 1 down for the freshman.
Well, what we've seen from the Hogs is most of their, if not all of their offense, especially lately, has come from the second half of this lineup. The first half has struggled a little bit. They've tried Matt Goodhart in the leadoff spot. He hasn't been able to do it. Braden Webb, remember, started for Christian Franklin. He led off. He had 2 strikeouts and 0 for 4 the other night. So again, this Hogs top of the order has had a tough time.
Willitson goes breaking ball on the first pitch to Caden Wallace. Speaking of guys who have struggled, Caden Wallace in the Super Regional just 1 for 8. The one hit was a double in Game 1. .275 for the year. Another breaking ball strike. Wallace has been mired in a 4 for 28 slump. Willitson already going to a steady diet of breaking balls. Caden Wallace, all SEC freshman, twice named the SEC Freshman of the Week. Rockets one to left, but the park will hold it. Butler camps under it and makes the catch. So 2 up, 2 down. If you're just joining us, there was a ball scorched to center field off of Cops by Tyler McDonough, and it was caught right in front of the 400-foot sign. Ball has been carrying rather well in this ballpark the first 2 games. We'll see how it carries today on another hot day, 90 degrees in Fayetteville. 40% humidity, winds at about 8 miles per hour. 2 down for Brady Slavens. Slavens, who had that scary injury in the SEC tournament in Hoover, that forced him to sit out the regional. And really was trying to find his way back. He's 2 for 7 and did hit a home run in this Super Regional, so appears to be coming back. Rolls that one over to Murr, and he'll take it unassisted. 1-2-3 inning for Willitson. Kevin Cops back on the bump when we come back from Fayetteville. There you look at the nation's premier pitcher this year, the most dominating of the bunch in terms of overall numbers, effectiveness, appearances, what have you. Now, as a starter, which we haven't seen in a couple of seasons, this is only his 7th career start, and the number's not nearly as impressive. The last time he actually started a game a year ago against Grand Canyon, his longest outing as a starter, 3 1/3. But Todd, I kind of look at a lot of those numbers, and I wipe the slate clean because he's clearly a different pitcher with a different pitch.
Well, he'll tell you he doesn't need the preparation, whether he's a starter, setup guy, closer. He doesn't need the preparation a starter normally does. He just gets out and does his thing. Remember, 2017, he did start the SEC tournament final against LSU and also the regional final in Fayetteville against Missouri State. So that was prior to his Tommy John surgery in 2018. So he's got some experience there. But again, he'll tell you that it doesn't matter. When I'm on the mound, I'm going after the hitters with one pitch, and that's the gyro.
And he's changed his grip. He's gone 4-seam to 2-seam. It's made a difference in the break of about 10 inches. So if you saw Kops a year or two ago and you say, well, I feel good about facing him, and then you see him this year, it's like a different guy.
Yeah, he reinvented himself for sure. And keep in mind, he does have a fastball. I mean, it'll get it up to 94, 95 miles an hour, but he uses that as a setup pitch for this gyro, because again, as a hitter, if you're sitting back on that gyro and you get the fastball, you can't pull the trigger.
Now remember, he did come into the game yesterday and threw 2 innings, and while he did retire all 6 batters that he faced, he disposed of them in 21 pitches. Guys like Luca Tresh can say, I've seen him now. I've seen this pitch. I feel a little bit more comfortable on what I'm looking at. Let's see what he does with a 3-1. That one not even close. So not as sharp as we've normally seen Kevin Kops so far. A hit to McDonough, a loud, noisy out to straightaway center 400 feet off the bat of Johnny Butler, and now a leadoff walk to Tresh. You see what he did in the regional. That's what the stuff that legends are made of, right? 185 pitches, a 2-0 record, a 7-inning relief appearance with your season on the line where nobody could hit him. That, of course, was against Nebraska.
And that's going to be the question mark, Mike. Yep. That's going to be the question mark for this guy. He's looked superhuman all year long, but if he doesn't, and he's already looked a little different than he did last weekend. If he doesn't get it done, then they're going to point to that as, you know, is he just normal? Is he like the rest of us? He needs the recovery.
Brown takes one at the knees for strike 1. Before that last walk, Kevin Kops only walked 4 opposing batters in 50 innings. Tapper to shortstop. Could be 2. Battles to Moore. The relay. Double play. That's the first double play of the Super Regional. And Battles and Moore, one of the better double play combinations in the country.
And this is the beauty of this pitch. Even if you do make contact, it's going to be tough to square it up. A lot of times when it's lower in the zone, it's going to go on the ground. And Battles to Moore to Slavens has happened a lot this year. No problem. Big double play for Arkansas.
Wipes the bases clean for Wojtek Menchik. Third baseman hitting in the 8-hole. He got in the home run parade yesterday. Part of that 4th inning that changed the complexion of the game. Torres, Tresh, and Menchik all homered in that game. Arkansas surrendered the lead, and NC State never relinquished it after that. Menchik out of the Czech Republic. 2 for 4 overall in this Super Regional, as that's fouled off at the plate. He's also chipped in with a couple of sacrifices. One ball, 2 strikes the count. Kops fires that one, and it's spiked in the dirt. There's so many impressive stats for this young man, Kevin Kops, but how about this one? In every appearance this year, 32 of them, he's not allowed more than 1 earned run in a single appearance. He hasn't allowed one here so far today through 2 innings of work. We're scoreless. Razorbacks are coming up.
How about Kevin Kops? The gyro ball right down the middle. Wojtek Menchik swings right through it. Arkansas coming up at the bottom of the 2nd.
The NCAA Baseball Super Regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by Pizza Hut. Order today at pizzahut.com.
Well, it'll turn out to be the second largest crowd in these super regionals thanks to what they did at Duty Noble Field yesterday. But nearly 12,000 strong. Tickets almost impossible to get for this one at Baum-Walker Stadium. The Razorbacks trying to make a third consecutive College World Series for the first time in program history. Matt Willitson looked good in the first. We'll see how he fares against the middle of the Arkansas lineup. Franklin, Moore, and Smith. Christian Franklin with his first start of this super regional, battling strep throat. And Franklin will hit it on the ground to Menchik, a bobble and an error. Tough break for Menchik. And the Wolfpack, the leadoff man, is aboard as we check in with Matt Schick. Thank you much, Matt. That one of two SEC ACC Super Regionals. This, of course, being the other, the two most prominent conferences since we began this format with Super Regionals in 1999. In fact, since that time, the SEC has had 46 teams in Omaha. The ACC has had 31. That's the top two. The SEC has won 7 national titles. The ACC with the one that came by the Virginia Cavaliers. That was the first one in over a half a century for the ACC. So NC State, as pure as they come in fielding this year, a .983 fielding percentage. They had a routine error yesterday by Torres that nearly cost them the game. And a routine error for Menchik, who's ordinarily airtight over there at the hot corner. So Franklin is aboard, and now here's big hit Bob himself, Robert Moore, who has enjoyed one heck of a postseason. And a pretty fair super regional as well. 4 for 9, 2 home runs, 5 runs driven in. One and two the count on Moore. Robert Moore stands 5'9", $170, but you wouldn't know it with the power. A lot of juice in those hands. 16 home runs, 15 from the left side. And a 2-2 count. First team All-SEC for Robert Moore, newcomer All-SEC team, SEC All-Defensive team. A pretty good way to break in. And of course, the son of the Kansas City Royals general manager, Dayton Moore. Slaps that one foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count on Moore out of Leawood, Kansas. Two-two pitch popped up left side of the infield. Nice job calling off the pitcher that time, coming down and making the play. That's actually going to be Menchik with the shift on, as NC State likes to do that quite a bit.
Well, that's a big out. Robert Moore from the left side is dangerous, and Menchik was already in the 6 hole. He was way over in the shortstop position. He had to run all the way over to make that play. Big first out for the Wolfpack.
A 1-on-1 gone for Colin Smith, the third baseman. Willitson continues to go heavy on that breaking ball. That catches the outside corner for a strike. Now on Colin Smith, 0-2. Colin Smith, the starting third baseman. Smith 3 for 8 with a homer and 4 driven in thus far. And you have to say, so far, an impressive start to this game by the freshman Matt Willitson. The only base runner reaching on an error. Franklin at first, 1 out, and a 1-2 count now to Colin Smith.
Yeah, that was the question mark as to whether or not the freshman would react in this environment. But again, we talked about Sam Highfield yesterday. He did fine, and so now you got Willitson out there doing the same thing. He's not intimidated by this crowd.
Arkansas doesn't run a ton. As Dave Van Horn will tell you, there's so much sizzle in this lineup, the last thing they want to do is run themselves out of an inning. Only 2 stolen bases the last 8 games for the Razorbacks. They just let their hitters do the work. You won't see a whole lot of bunting. You won't see a whole lot of the running game. Tapper to the right side, ranging over and making the play. What a job by Matt Willitson. The pitcher says, I'll take matters into my own hands, 1 unassisted.
Well, you've got to be able to field your position. And how about Matt Willitson? After he throws the pitch, he's squared up, ready for the ball, goes to his left side, jumps off, and makes the second out. Yeah, that was a nice athletic play.
Now Dr. Pinch Hit himself, Charlie Welch, who of course has been in the starting lineup first because of the absence of Franklin, who you see at second. Then because, well, he just kept hitting home runs. So Dave Van Horn feels obligated to keep him in there. And that's exactly what the fans want to see. One of the hottest hitters going in this postseason. 368, 3 home runs, 9 driven in, and for the year hitting 397 and slugging in the neighborhood of 800. Welch has been on base 7 of his 10 appearances in the series. That one catches the outside corner at 87 miles an hour. Darren Hyman calling balls and strikes today. Arkansas, as you would imagine, terrific at home all year long, as they've been terrific everywhere at 50-12. There might be one number that kind of snuck up on people, and that's NC State's road record, 18-4, second best in the country. And boy, did they ever respond yesterday.
Yeah, they really did. Remember, they lost 21-2 on opening night. That demoralized anybody. They came out yesterday, pinned 6 on Arkansas. They were up 6-2 at one point, ended up winning 6-5, and that was a big comeback for that man's team right there. Elliott Avent.
Breaking ball misses the bat that time of Welch. Okay, so Todd, let's look at this through the eyes of Arkansas hitters. We've seen much more breaking balls than fastballs from Willitson. What are you sitting on?
Well, a 2-2 count, you got to get by this pitch, right? And even then, first base is open. 3-2 is not a guaranteed fastball. So right now, I'm sitting back on off speed, reacting fastball. A lot of hitters will tell you they sit fastball, react off speed. I do the opposite.
Comes back with another curveball, misses outside.
And so again, now with 2 outs. First base open. Usually if it's first and second, for example, with 2 outs, you're going to get a fastball 3-2. There's no guarantee here, especially with how hot Charlie Welch has been, that he's going to get a fastball. This makes it tougher for the hitters because you've got to protect against some off speed, because he doesn't mind walking you on a 3-2 count. He's trying to get a swing and miss.
Here comes the payoff. Hit hard and down the right field line. This will plate the first run of the game. Charlie Welch does it again with an RBI double.
I like the off-speed 3-2 there. Willits doesn't. He challenges Charlie Welch with a fastball, and Charlie Welch makes him play. Remember the other night he went oppo for the home run. I love the fact that this kid is using the other side of the field, gets the 3-2 fastball away, doesn't try to pull it, hits it the opposite way. The Hogs are on the board.
He has to be one of the best stories in this entire postseason. Again, he had about 50 at-bats all year. Couldn't crack the starting lineup for most of the conference games and most of the bigger games this season. Dave Van Horn fell in love with using his bat off the bench. He had the biggest of home runs in that elimination game against Nebraska. And how he got to Arkansas, Dave Van Horn told the young man who wanted to be a Razorback, he's from Clearwater, Florida, but basically said, look, I like you, Charlie, but you're not ready. Go play some ball, lower levels, and if you're good enough, we'll give you a scholarship. From Clearwater, goes to Pepperdine, then plays JUCO, then arrives in Fayetteville. And even then, the message clearly was, you're good enough, but we like you coming off the bench. And now, if Arkansas does make it to a third straight College World Series, Charlie Welch's bat will be a huge reason why.
Yeah, and this is the meeting that's happening because he gave up the base hit to Charlie Welch on 3-2 with first base open. Now a hitter in a plus count at 2-0. He's telling him right here, look, we're not going to throw him a cookie. It doesn't matter if you walk him. You're going to face the 9-hole Jalen Battles, which is no joke. But at a 2-0 count, you certainly don't want to give up the second run by just throwing one over the plate.
Well, we've already had a couple of teams make it 3 total that have actually punched their ticket to the College World Series. Vanderbilt in 2, Stanford in a convincing 2-game sweep of Texas Tech, and the Tennessee Volunteers. What a story. What a job done by Tony Vitello. Todd Walker, you and I go back a ways. Back when Tennessee had the glory years with the likes of Todd Helton, our own Chris Burke. That was late 90s, early 2000s. And then there was a dark period, if you will. It's been a dormant program before Tony Vitello got there. We spoke with him earlier in the year. People said, hey, you don't want to take that job. You can't win in Knoxville. He has proven everybody wrong. They are in Omaha for the first time since 2005. Terrific story, terrific job by Coach Vitello. 3-0 count to the 8-hole hitter, Casey Opitz. And now you start to worry because Opitz had been struggling at the plate. Willitson was kind of cruising, then the error, then the double by Welch, and now a walk to Opitz.
Well, the walk is because he gave up the base hit. Again, he learned from the Charlie Welch at bat. 3-2, you don't throw him anything he can hit. Maybe you get a swing and miss on something nasty, if not walking. So Casey Opitz gets ahead, 2-0, the talk on the mound. And that talk was, look, we're not throwing him anything close. If he swings and misses, great. If not, let's walk him, and we'll face Jalen Battles.
9-hole hitter is Jalen Battles. Battles has been swinging a hot bat last 8 games, hitting at a .408 clip. Nearly 12,000 Arkansas fans are going to make this a little bit more of a stressful situation for the freshman Matt Willitson, who's found himself in a jam in the 2nd inning. 1 run already in. 2 on, 2 outs.
Not to swing and a miss on a 1-0 pitch that Jalen Battles thought was going to be the fastball. This is a different situation now. First base is not open. Nowhere to put Jalen Battles. 1-0 pitch. That was nice by Willitson, because if you're a hitter, you're looking dead red right there because he has to throw a strike on that pitch.
This is the beauty of the Arkansas lineup, and this is why most people consider them the favorite not only to win today, but to win in Omaha. They don't just go up there hacking away, despite the fact they lead the country with 108 home runs. They also lead the country in walks, over 3.5 per game. Very patient and intelligent approach at the plate. A 3-ball count. Again, now to Battles.
Again, different scenario now. Nowhere to put him. 3-1 count. and you have to throw the fastball, I think. And if Jalen battles, you're coming out of your shoes. And if he happens to drop the curveball on you and it's 3-2 and you miss it by 20 feet, now at 3-2, you know he's going to come back with that curveball. Whatever he throws 3-1, he's going to throw 3-2. But right here, as a hitter, you're looking for that cookie over the middle of the plate, the fastball.
Ball 4. 2 walks and error in the second inning, and although there's 2 outs, Matt Willitson finds himself in a hot mess.
Well, with 2 outs, he has to understand that he's almost out of it. 1 pitch can get him out of this inning with minimal damage, only the 1 run, but you can't let it escalate in your mind. And when we talked about how is he going to react to this crowd and this atmosphere, this is the atmosphere we were talking about. It's one thing to start the game when everybody's kind of silent, but now when you start to get the crowd rowdy, they put on the beer mug hats with the bases loaded, and now is when you see whether or not this freshman can react in the right positive way.
Back to the top of the order with Matt Goodhart. He struck out his first time up against Willitson. And that one was right in the happy zone. Goodhart would love to have another crack at that pitch. Goodhart this season 1 for 8 with the bases loaded. Welch, Opitz battles aboard with 2 outs in a 1-0 game. A good time to mention, there's no activity in the Wolfpack bullpen, in part because they don't have a lot of options. It's basically been a 5-man staff all year. It's basically been a 2-headed monster out of the bullpen. We saw Justice yesterday. We'll see Villeman today. There's a good curveball in the right spot, 1-2. But if you chase them out in the second, third inning, you're really putting a lot of pressure on those 2 guys out of the pen. Two and two.
Yeah, now if you're in this position, you got 2 choices. He's either going to elevate that fastball above the waist, or he's coming back to that curveball that you didn't get the swing on. And if I'm the hitter now with 2 and 2, I'm looking for that curveball because he's gonna throw it as a get me over pitch. He's not going to try to spike it and throw it for a swing and miss.
Fouled off at home plate. You'll see another 2 and 2 offering from Matt Willitson.
The only hard part about this too, Mike, is that the shadow is starting to come over home plate. So now from the pitcher's hand to home plate, the ball's changing colors. It always made it seem like a little more difficult for me as a hitter to pick up the baseball.
Home plate encased in shade. You see the sun shining brightly on the rest of the field. Hit sharply to second. Fielded on one knee by Jarrett. And the side is retired. It could have been a whole heck of a lot worse. Willitson was on the ropes, but no knockout punch delivered by the Razorbacks. It's a 1-0 game. Matt, Professor Rooney, thank you so much. You saw that highlight for the Irish trying to even up that series. Their head coach is Link Jarrett. His son is the man at the plate. That's JT Jarrett. And much like his old man, reliable on the infield, scrappy at the plate, JT Jarrett, the junior out of Greensboro, North Carolina. That's a pretty cool story. You got your dad coaching in one super regional, son is playing in another.
Yeah, I have a son that doesn't listen to me a lot, so clearly JT Jarrett listened to his dad, and that's where he is. I know how hard that is, man, to bring up a kid in this game, you know, and Link Jarrett, what a great job he did with JT. And like you said, they're mimics of each other. Now, of course, Link played shortstop, JT's playing second base, but they're just, the word that comes to mind for that family is just consistency.
And Link has done an outstanding job with that Notre Dame program, trying to lead them to Omaha for the first time since 2002, when Paul Maneri did it before he took the LSU job. Paul Maneri coaching his last game today after 39 years. Swing and a miss over the top by Jarrett for the first out for Kevin Kopps. The NCAA Super Regionals continuing tomorrow on the ESPN family of networks. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. We know there's going to be at least one game tomorrow. Virginia evened up their series with Dallas Baptist. Cavaliers, the last ACC team to win the national championship. DBU has never been to Omaha. Heck, they've only been Division I for a little more than a decade, and they've been a regular in the regionals. They've been to one Super, now two, including this year, and will try to make history tomorrow. Back to the top of the order. Nobody on, one out for Austin Murr. Kevin Kopps, first start of the season. We were wondering, and you and I spoke to Dave Van Horn, I guess it was Thursday, and kind of what we expected, breaking down the players, breaking down the staff. We learned that he's got a nice farm and driving distance from campus in Fayetteville. He's got a tractor. He's got a nice setup there when the time has come to retire, which Arkansas fans hope is not anytime soon. But he kind of just slipped it in there. By the way, if there's a game 3, don't be surprised if Kevin Kopps starts. Well, he wasn't kidding. He didn't do the old okey doke. He gave us accurate information and confirmed it a few hours before first pitch, and that sent a scuttlebutt throughout the college baseball world, because all they've been hearing about is how great this guy has been, and he has been just that, but we haven't seen him in a starting role all year. This is one of the more remarkable stories, because again, you're not talking about a highly touted kid out of high school. A red shirt in 2016. 2017, he starts 5 games. Then he's got to go under the knife for Tommy John. 2019, so-so in 30 appearances. 2020, 7 appearances. Again, the numbers were pedestrian at best, but he reinvents himself. He discovers a new pitch, and he's been as virtually unhittable. I'm trying to think, Todd, of a relief pitcher that we've seen put together any type of season like this one, and I'm struggling to find it.
The most impressive numbers on that sheet is 12 wins and 11 saves. You probably will never see that again. It's hard to get 12 wins in a season, period. This guy has 12 wins, 11 saves, and of course he's been a big reason why the Arkansas Razorbacks have done so well this year. Already won 50 games.
I will say this. He's been effective, obviously. There's a 0 on the board for the Wolfpack, but you look at that pitch count, he's going to be over 50 pitches through 3. And of course, the other question becomes, if you're looking long-term strategy, if Kevin Kopps tires or proves to be ineffective, now what's your plan B coming out of the bullpen? I guess it would be Jackson Wiggins.
Well, keep in mind, Jackson Wiggins was a closer to start the season. Kevin Kopps was setting up for him. And there was a time when Patrick Wicklander was mixed in that setup role as well. Now Wicklander's the Friday night ace. Kevin Kopps is the closer. But Jackson Wiggins with the big arm, he can throw it up to 100 miles an hour, would be the guy behind Kopps.
He has now reached a half century, 50 pitches under the belt of Kevin Kopps, and not the ordinary pounding of the strike zone. 24 balls and 26 strikes. That's very un-Kopps-like. He's already walked 2 batters. He's never walked 3 in a game all season. Nice job to fight that one off by Tyler McDonough, who got him for a single back in the first inning. McDonough had a 53-game on-base streak snapped earlier this season. It is an NC State lineup that has power, that has depth, that has speed. That was the top hitting team in the ACC all year long. A payoff is due to McDonough. Strike 3. Runner goes on the play, and he's safe. So Murr gets the steal. There's some of the speed we alluded to.
So this is what makes Kevin Kopp special to me, Mike. He throws the 3-2 curveball. Tyler McDonough knew it was ball 4, and so he swings and barely fouls it off. Now as a hitter, Tyler McDonough saying, all right, I got to be more careful with that pitch. I'm going to sit back and really see it this time. And that's when Kevin Kopp burns that fastball by you. And that's how smart this guy is on the mound. He thinks along with the hitters, and he gets the freeze up on Tyler McDonough.
I love the way some people have alluded to scouting Kevin Kopp's, talking about that mysterious, disappearing, and dominating pitch, which some have labeled it a gyro. That ball's driven by Butler. Again, deep to the outfield, to the wall, and gone. Franklin leapt and could not haul it in. Johnny Butler hit one 400 feet for an out in his first at bat. He got that one nearly as far, and it scrapes over the fence for a home run.
Yeah, Johnny Butler's one of the guys that got a look at him last night. He did strike out, but he saw a lot of pitches. Now his first at bat, he crashes one to center field, barely got under it. Not this time. Johnny Butler out of the 3-hole, rips it into right field. Look at the effort by Christian Franklin, not enough. And the Wolfpack take the lead.
That is only the 4th long ball Kopp has surrendered all season long. McDonough clearly seeing whatever, Butler clearly seeing whatever he throws well, and so too is Terrell Tatum, who's 2 for 2.
Yeah, Terrell Tatum was another one of these hitters that had a big regional in Ruston, got 6 hits, and now again today 2 hits already. And they're starting to see him. Again, there's 2 different types of gyros that Kevin Kopp will throw. One's the get-me-over, and the other one's the swing and miss. He's throwing it early on the get-me-over, and that's the one that doesn't have as much break and you can make contact with.
Torres jumps on the first one. He sends it deep, but playable. Wallace took a few steps back and then comes on to make the grab. But Kevin Kopp's human so far. 2 runs on 4 hits, including a bomb by Butler.
That ball was touched all the way to right center field. The wind blows out that way. The fences are in, and Johnny Butler with the 2-run homer.
Welcome back to the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals, presented by Capital One. He is the Hall of Famer and 2-time All-American Todd Walker. I am Mike Morgan. Thank you so much for being a part of our busy day on ESPN2. We're in the 3-hole of a quadruple header of Super Regional action. 3 teams have already punched their ticket to Omaha. 5 are left, and one of these 2 will clinch a berth at the end of this game. Will it be Arkansas for a 3rd straight year? Or will it be NC State for just the 3rd time in school history, and the first time since 2013. That was an Elliott Avent coach team led by Trey Turner and Carlos Rodon, who picked up a win today for the Chicago White Sox. Wallace in the 2-hole starts things off 1 ball, 1 strike. He's 4 for his last 29 at the plate. High breaking ball sent back into the seats. Two and two.
You got to be impressed with Matt Willardson getting out of that last inning. That could have been trouble, and that's usually an inning that the Razorbacks take advantage of with the error and then the 3 runners on in a row with the double and the 2 walks. He ends up getting out of it, and now with the 2-2 count, he's in control again.
Pulled the string on that pitch. Second strikeout for the freshman. As we look at our Capital One brackets, again, Stanford. First time the Cardinal have been there for a while. Congratulations to Stanford. of the Pac-12. Arizona will try to make it another Pac-12 team getting in. That game will be tonight following our game at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, taking on Ole Miss. Of course, Vanderbilt disposing of East Carolina in 2 games. ECU is going to break that seal at some point. They just have not been able to get over the hump. Now 0-6 in Super Regionals. Two 2-0 the count on the Arkansas first baseman hitting the 3-hole today, Brady Slavinson, as Willitson reaches the half-century mark, 50 pitches under his belt. Pounded into the ground and off to the shift into the glove of Torres, who has made several plays, the shortstop has, from the right side of the infield. Coming up after this out, we'll talk with Dave Van Horn in his 19th year with Arkansas. Spectacular job he has done. 6 World Series with Arkansas, 2 with Nebraska. This is his 11th Super Regional as a head coach, and he's won 8 out of 10. And of course, we'll ask him the question about that decision to start Kevin Kopps today and see how he thinks Kevin Kopps has fared thus far. Franklin 0 for his last 12. He did reach on an error to start the second.
And a lot of swing and misses. 10 strikeouts out of those last 12 at-bats. He has had some good at-bats. He's getting deep in counts. He's just not able to make the contact with the 2 strikes.
So even the great ones, like a young Todd Walker, have been mired in slumps, the likes of what Christian Franklin is looking at right now. What adjustments would you make?
Well, he needs to develop a 2-strike approach because he can run, and he's got the most extra base hits on this the most powerful offense in the country with the Razorbacks. But, you know, you got two goes at it. It's the way I always looked at it. Now when you get to 2 strikes, you forget about the home runs and the damage, and you just try to put the ball in play. That's something that we don't see a lot in baseball anymore. That's something that I took pride in. I fought with 2 strikes. But this kid's extremely, extremely talented. But keep in mind, there's 2 separate types of slumps. There's slumps where you're just putting it in play and not getting your hits. And then there's slumps when you're striking out a lot. And when you're striking out a lot, that slump can prolong a long time. And for me, when I went an 0 for 20 slump, I might have struck out twice, putting the ball in play, and that's when the average comes into effect. The next 20 at-bats, I kept putting the ball in play, some balls fall. So again, for this kid, if he develops a 2-strike approach, I think that's the last key to the puzzle.
He's got a full count here. Willitson looking for another 1-2-3 inning. He had one in the first. Payoff pitch, and Arkansas's leading walkman draws a walk here with 2 outs. It's the 44th walk of the year for Franklin.
And you can see the discipline there. I mean, I'm looking fastball 100% on that pitch, and a lot of times you'll get the swing and miss right there because the hitter is so geared up to hit that fastball and get the barrel out and pull it. How about the job by Christian Franklin on the 3-2? Able to see it, lays off of it, draws the walk.
There's Robert Moore. 1 on, 2 gone. And a home run cut. Runner goes. That's Franklin, and he swipes second. So a runner in scoring position now, as Arkansas could tie it up with a base hit.
He's got the most extra base hits on this team and the most steals. That's steal number 11 for Christian Franklin. Good pitch to go on, too. The off speed gets in no problem. And again, now it just creates a scenario with Robert Moore. They know how dangerous he is from the left side, but it's that same situation with 2 outs and first base open. It's a little more difficult as a hitter because the pitcher is freed up to kind of throw his pitches. It doesn't mind if he walks Robert Moore with 2 outs. So it frees him up to throw some dirty pitches in hitter counts.
Robert Moore's father, Dayton Moore, now the GM of the Royals, formerly in the front office of the Atlanta Braves, and that was when Robert Moore watched a whole lot of Braves games and decided Chipper Jones was his favorite player. He's a switch hitter. There's Dayton Moore, also known as Pops. And so Chipper Jones became his favorite player. He's a switch hitter just like Chipper. And a special treat for him is during the SEC tournament in Hoover, Chipper Jones actually sent a video message to Robert Moore congratulating him on a terrific season. That's something out of a Disney movie.
Well, and think about the situation you're in. You're the general manager of a major league team. You can draft your son. Robert Moore is the best player out of Kansas out of high school, but his dad said, you know what, go to college, get your degree, develop as a baseball player. We'll take another look at it in 3 or 4 years. And I'd say so far in his second year, he's developed quite well.
No question, and only enhances his stock in the process. And as we've seen, 3 to 4 year college guys move up the minor leagues faster than high school kids drafted. I think all those trends have been shifting in the direction of more and more players electing not to take the money out of high school, going to a 4-year program, and reaping the benefits on the other side. Good battle here with Willitson and big hit Bob, Robert Moore. Two and two.
And I will say this, and we've already said it once, all the talent in the world won't overcome the fact that that shadow is now in between the mound and home plate. And as a hitter, that used to drive me nuts because now you're kind of focused on that. It's darker at home plate. The ball changes colors. And I always thought as a pitcher you could throw more fastballs in this situation because it's just tough to see.
2-2. You knew he wasn't coming with a fastball, right? Curveball and a great changeup. And you don't want to throw this kid a fastball even with 2 strikes.
Well, and with first base open, he's not going to. With 2 outs.
Right.
Now, any other out scenario might be a little different, but with 2 outs, the last thing he wants to do is give up the only run he's given up, which is in the exact same scenario where he threw the 3-2 fastball. So Robert Moore's not going to see a ball that he can hit over the middle of the plate. He's trying to get the swing and miss. That was a nice pitch right there. Robert Moore barely hangs on to it. But again, I'd be shocked if he throws him anything he can drive that run in with.
Tresh flashes up the sign and the target. Off the plate outside. Here comes the payoff. Rip to the first baseman, and a fine play turned in by Murr. He'll take it unassisted for the 3rd out. Willitson working well with traffic on the diamond. We'll chat with Coach Van Horn when we return. Wolfpack leading the Razorbacks 2-1, getting ready for the top of the 4th. Dave Van Horn checking in with us here. And Coach, you tipped us off earlier in the week that if there was a Game 3, don't be surprised if Kevin Kopp started. How difficult was that decision for you?
Well, we talked about it as a group last night about an hour after the game, and we just felt like that, you know, the season he has had, and if we wait to the 3rd or 4th inning, 2nd or 3rd inning, and we're down a few runs, we'd probably be upset with ourselves for not giving him the ball right away. A lot of times he gets better as the game goes on or when he gets a little tired. I think his adrenaline's going pretty good.
Coach, your offense has been good all year long. Christian Franklin comes across in the 2nd inning. What was the approach for the offense as a whole today?
Well, we know he throws a lot of off-speed pitches. I mean, the right-handers have done a better job than the left-handers so far. We've been out front and hooking balls to the right side. We've got to make an adjustment.
Dave, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for the time.
All right, thanks, guys.
You got it. Coach Van Horn, outstanding career for that man. Little dribbler to the 3rd baseman, and the throw is rifled across the diamond. Nice play. Smith to Slavens to retire the catcher, Luca Tresh.
Yeah, ball coming out of that shadow. And again, Smith has to come in and on the run. When you let that ball go, you've got to aim at the right side of Slavens, his right shoulder, because that ball is going to slide back over into the middle of his body. Nice job by Smith, not only with the run and throw, but the accuracy as well.
One gone for Devontae Brown. I love the honesty from Dave Van Horn there, Todd, because let's face it, the beauty of baseball is that the fans can second guess every move that a head coach or manager makes, and they usually do after a loss. And you've got a decision to make. Do you want to potentially lose, with your best guy on the mound? Or do you want to start somebody else, get in a hole that you can't dig out of, and regret it the rest of the offseason that you didn't go and start the most dominating and ultimate weapon this year in college baseball in Kevin Kopps?
Well, it goes back to the discussion you've already had, you being a big Braves fan, about as a pitcher. Do you want to lose with your best pitch, or do you want to lose with your third best pitch? Mark Wohlers against Jim Leyritz, flips that slider in there. Third best pitch, kid had 100 miles an hour in his back pocket. So I think it's the same thing. You're exactly right. If you're going to lose, you're going to lose with your best.
Well, you just made a lot of Braves fans upset with that memory.
Oh, man, what was that, early 90s?
96. Send your hate mail to Todd Walker. What's that Twitter handle again?
They've had plenty of good times in Atlanta since then.
Yes, struggling a little bit here lately with the bullpen, but that's a whole other story as Menchik digs in and starts off at an 0-1 count. Vojta Menchik from the Czech Republic. Elliot Avent discovered him in a fall scrimmage when he was going up against the Czech Republic national team and said, hey, you got some skills, young man. Why don't you come to Raleigh and play for us? Been a good find for him. We'll talk with Coach Avent before the next inning begins. Elliot Avent in his 25th year, 1,147 wins. He's been to Omaha once. That snapped a 44-year drought for the Wolfpack. That was back in 2013. Two and two now the count. Menchik in that 8-hole. The lineup never changes. Death, taxes, and the everyday 9 for NC State. Same 9 guys starting virtually every game, driving in almost every run the entire season. 2-2 pitch, clubbed to left, gave it a ride, but it'll be flagged down just shy of the track. That's the best inning so far for Kevin Kopps. Mike Morgan, Todd Walker back with you. Baum-Walker Stadium. NC State leading it 2-1. Another hot day in Fayetteville. And Elliot Avent hopes that lineup stays hot. Coach, you kind of shut down in Game 1, but boy, did you ever turn the tide in Game 2. How do you keep the bats hot in this all-important Game 3?
It's like we got a good hitting ball club, but you obviously got one of the top pitchers, if not the top pitcher in college baseball out there. And him and the catcher are doing a great job today, I'll tell you. He's got a good cutter, a good breaking ball, and enough of a fastball to keep you off the other two. And Opitz does a great job of blocking everything. He isn't afraid to throw anything in the dirt.
Coach, you had a great outing from a young Sam Highfield yesterday, and now today the young Matt Willitson is on the mound. What have you seen from him?
He's pitching good. He had a tough inning that one inning, got some men on base, and this is an electric crowd here, but he settled in and got a big out, and he's just got every inning we can get from him is a plus, and we got a couple guys in the bullpen that'll be following him up, and he's doing a great job so far.
Coach, we'll let you get back to work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Coach might have tipped his hand there, Todd. You notice he said a couple, not one guy in the bullpen.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
You and I have been working together long enough where we read that at the same time. What we're alluding to, of course, is Evan Justice, who was terrific out of the pen yesterday, threw 48 pitches, 2 2/3. If there was any question whether or not he'd be able to go again today, I think Coach just let you know, Justice and Villeman, their two-headed monster out of the bullpen. Sounds like they'll both be available.
Yeah, and Justice was good last night, too. I mean, throwing 95 from the left side with a little funky delivery. I mean, that's exactly what I thought of when he said that. They're going to use both today.
Diving play by Murr, smothers it, and then wins the foot race to the bag. That is a big-time play by the Wolfpack first baseman.
Now batting for the Razorbacks, number 19.
Well, Cullen Smith's one of the guys DVH is talking about. A little pull happy. Remember, he rolled it over to the pitcher his first at bat, and now another rollover down the right field line. But how about Murr with a nice grab, saving extra bases, steps on the bag, wins the foot race for the first out.
Are you with me on the defensive metrics at fielding percentage? And look, it speaks for itself. NC State's second in the nation in that category, but it doesn't tell the whole story. because it doesn't keep into account the range of some of these guys.
Oh, no question. Yeah, all fielding percentage gives you is what you do when the ball is hit at you. Now, of course, you can make some diving plays, and that counts as a chance and that sort of thing, but it doesn't tell how athletic this NC State defense is. And I think Arkansas is equally as athletic on their side. But, you know, and Coach Elliott told us that he's never had a defense in all positions where they're plus defenders everywhere. And this is a rarity, and that's coming from a guy who's been there 25 years.
Both teams have terrific quartets up the middle. Catcher, second, short, center field. That's where it all starts. And they both have excelled at those positions throughout this 2021 campaign. Charlie Welch had an RBI double, accounting for the lone Razorback run today. They have not been able to get Charlie Welch out. Now they do. Swing over the top. I mean, it's just a constant array of breaking balls and changeups, and you're still having some trouble hitting it.
Well, DVH was a hitter when he was a player, so he understands the going the other way ability. And Charlie Welch has done that. Now he gets in swing mode where he's trying to pull it, and he gets the off speed, not able to do it. The only way to hit that ball, of course, is to be looking down the right field line, stay back, let it travel as far as possible, eliminate the pull side, and drive it to right there. Charlie Welch looking for something else, trying to get the barrel out, not able to handle it. But DVH during BP will sit off center of these hitters, making them go the opposite field gap. That's when you know a hitter's locked in, is when they're using the other side of the plate. DVH preaches that, but as you heard him say, today so far, they've just not been able to stay back.
It's the catcher, drops down a bunt, and the throw from Billotson gets away from Murr. I'm not sure if that wouldn't have been better played by the catcher, Tresh. We'll take another look, but a big break as Opitz is aboard.
Well, Tresh could have taught him off. The reason Casey Opitz is doing that is because they've shifted him to the right side. Nobody's standing on the left side of the pitcher, and clearly the catcher could have called him off. But any good bunt like that, it's going to be hard to get him no matter who picks up the baseball. Casey Opitz showing his range as a baseball player. He's already the field general behind the plate. He calls the pitches for this team, and now we know he can swing it, especially with guys on base. Here he shows how he can bunt as well.
Now the window is open for some Todd Walker anti-shift commentary after that play.
Well, I don't know if the shift is, they do it so that the hitter will think differently than he would otherwise. With 2 outs, nobody on, they want him to try to bunt versus trying to go for a home run. And so that's what he does. He takes advantage of it. The difference is you got a 9-hole hitter that's pretty good in Jalen Battles. So Opitz isn't afraid just to take the bunt, take the base hit, and let Jalen Battles go to work.
Battles was the MVP of the SEC tournament. He went 7 for 13. A home run and 5 RBIs. Also collected a couple of web gems in the process. Well, not your typical 9-hole hitter. He coaxed a walk in his first at bat. 1 on, 2 outs, a 1-run game. The third and decisive game of this Fayetteville Super Regional. The winner goes to Omaha. Well, this is what happened the last go-round at the bottom of the order. Willitson struggled when he gave up a double to Welch and then back-to-back walks to Opitz and Battles. See if he grooves one over here, 3-0. Not even close. Be shocking if we saw anybody out of the bullpen not named Justice or that man, Chris Villeman, and the left-hander warming up now.
Yeah, and back to your point, Mike, I think you're only human as a pitcher if you don't think or know that you're facing the bottom of the lineup. So mentally you have a little bit of a breakdown, and that's why we're seeing him have trouble with the bottom of this order. Casey Opitz and Jalen Battles have reached base all 4 times, 2 for Casey and 2 for Jalen. And this is the part of the lineup that does the most damage, 4 through 9 in the Arkansas lineup. They're hoping this guy gets hot, Matt Goodhart.
Arkansas came into this game 10 for 23 with runners in scoring position, although most of that damage was done in the game 1 rout. That one drops in nicely on the inside corner for a strike. Goodhart is 0 for 2, hitting .267 on the year. Traffic in every inning for Arkansas but the first, but still only the 1 run. Two elite offensive clubs. Arkansas, number 1 in the SEC, swinging the bat. NC State, number 1 in the ACC, swinging the bat. But the question will be today, how long can either one of these starters stay in the game? Willitson already at 80 pitches. We're only in the 4th inning.
Well, you can see Matt Willitson already an uptick in his middle approach here. Now turning the lineup over to the leadoff hitter. Now all of a sudden 2 quality pitches, and that was a quality one as well. He's trying to get the swing and miss on the ball in the dirt. He did that on purpose. So 3 for 3 on putting the ball where he wants to put it, and that wasn't the case on the last 9-hole hitter, Jalen Battles.
It's the second time Goodhart has come up with the bases loaded. Did not cash in the first time. Of course, 2 on here, beg your pardon. First and second with 2 outs. He stranded 3 his first time up. He's got 2 on here with 2 outs. .265 this season with runners in scoring position. And another 3-ball count.
Well, after 0-2, he tried to get 3 swing and misses. He tried to go down in the dirt. He tried to go outside, and that one on the inside corner tried to get him to swing and miss. Now at 3-2 with nowhere to put him, you just got to throw it in there and pray.
7th 3-ball count already on the day for Willitson. Nearly 12,000 fans getting rowdy. And a payoff pitch on the way. He got him. Huge swing and miss and strikeout for Willitson.
Prayers answered for Matt Willitson. How about coming up with this pitch on 3-2? The sinker on the outside corner. That was nasty. And the Wolfpack are off the field.
We have reached the top of the 5th inning. It's NC State leading Arkansas 2-1. He is Todd Walker. I am Mike Morgan. 3rd game of a quadruple header of action here on ESPN2 today. Super Regionals. 3 tickets already punched to Omaha. We'll have another one after this game concludes. Been an unorthodox pitcher's duel of sorts thus far. Willitson and Kops have both worked with a good amount of traffic thus far, but have done a good job weaving in and out of it. Kops, who has never gone more than 7 innings in a game, gets his first start of the year. He's already allowed 2 earned runs. That's the first time he's done that all season. So his ERA has skyrocketed from 0.66 to 0.85.
Well, pitchers will tell you sometimes they show up and they've got to really work, and sometimes it just seems easy. This is a day where Kevin Kops has really got to get after it and work. It's not coming easy for him. He's been in some 3-ball counts, but he's able to battle already into the 5th.
Jarrett starting things off, the 9-hole hitter. He just pokes at that ball and serves it into right field. JT Jarrett aboard as we say hello to Matt Schick.
Now batting for NC State, number 12, Austin Murr.
Matt, look forward to that. Of course, that game being played on a neutral field at Founders Park in Columbia, South Carolina. Kind of a weird vibe. You've got some fans from each school that made the trip, but it's hardly your typical intimidating home field environment for either one of those teams. Austin Murr at the top, 0 for 1 with a base on balls. He's hitting .324 on the year. Tapped that one foul.
Yeah, this is what we talked about. First time through the lineup, you see Kevin Kopps 2 for 8. But the more you face a pitcher, the more it becomes a hitter's advantage. You get your timing and your tempo. You got the muscle memory of the pitch that you're seeing, and you feel a little more confident the second and third time through.
On the ground, right to shortstop. Stepping on the bag, the throw to first. He got him. Battles. Slick fielding shortstop for Arkansas makes the play.
Great decision by Jalen Battles. Anytime up the middle you can take it yourself, you do that. Don't throw it, just take it yourself. Nice, easy little double play by Jalen Battles. Calls off Moore at second base. And again, for all the young infielders out there, if you can take it yourself, do it. Any extra throw could be trouble. And nice job by Battles with that decision.
A nice job by Moore to get out of the way at the last second. Nasty pitch and a swinging strike for Tyler McDonough, who's 1 for 2. Kevin Kopps this year, when he's on, and he's been on for just about every appearance he's been out there this season, I mean, it's Bugs Bunny type stuff. You've seen some of the most ugly swings in college baseball this season when this guy's on the mound.
Yeah, I would say awkward. Like that's what that gyro pitch does. It creates awkward swings, and the reason being is because you haven't got it in your brain about what it looks like yet. So you're in swing mode. You're going after it, but it ends up being a ball out of the zone that you're swinging at. And again, I love Kopps and his ability to throw the fastball for the strike. I told you, Tim Wakefield, what made him so great as a knuckleballer is he could throw his fastball for a strike anytime he wanted to. And when Kevin Kopps wants to throw that fastball, and it isn't an ordinary fastball, it's 92 to 94, he can pin it on the outside corner for a strike.
Gets the outside corner for strike 3. The backward K for McDonough. Kevin Kopps getting better as the game moves along. It's a 1-run game, and we are halfway home. Two 5-1 for the Wolfpack of the ACC. 1-2-0 for the Razorbacks of the SEC. Somebody's going to Omaha, and someone is going home. We know Matt Willitson has gone to the dugout, and that's where he will remain. His day is done. First call to the bullpen goes to NC State, and we will see Chris Villeman, the other hard-throwing lefty for the Wolfpack.
And another freshman. This will be his 18th appearance. Fastball get up to 94. He can throw the cutter on the outside corner to lefties, and then the slider. This is a guy they've depended on out of the pen, and why would you not with the stat line? 16 walks in 57 innings. The last 2 outings, he struck out 7 and hasn't walked anybody.
Matt Willitson started this game. The only run he allowed was on an error, an unearned run. Menchik helped pave the way for an unearned run, so Willitson overall getting the job done. They did not expect him to last long. They knew that this was going to be a day where the bullpen was going to have to be a factor. And really the bullpen, you're essentially talking about 2 guys, and that's Justice, and that's the man you see right here, the freshman Villeman, who's been really hot of late. He's out of High Point, North Carolina. Another guy who has shuffled in and out of the rotation, but he has worked best this year as one of the closers.
What did I say? Fastball at 94? I meant fastball at 96. My goodness. Got a little energy coming into this game.
Yeah, he dialed it up pretty good in the ACC championship game. NC State lost that 1-0 to Duke, but Duke didn't hit him for nearly 5 innings. He did not allow a run.
And remember, this is what they've got behind him and Evan Justice. If they bring in Evan Justice or need to, it's the same identical lefty. Fastball's up to 95, 96.
Wallace at the plate, 4 for his last 30, trying to snap out of a funk. Terrific freshman. All SEC freshman performer who they believe is going to be an All-American when it's all said and done. Tried the bottom of the zone, but a tick low. And it's 2-2. challenged him there at 95. And Wallace will foul it away. Now, like you said, you're basically looking at two guys that are kind of carbon copies of one another. Justice, who we saw last night, who was terrific. They don't win that game without him giving an A-plus performance. And then Chris Villman. They're both lefty, both big kids, and both throw a lot of heat.
Caden Wallace giving a fight out of the 2-hole. He's been hitting primarily 3-hole for the Arkansas Razorbacks all year, and I was impressed with that, and that shows what DVH believes in him. True freshman in that 3-hole, surrounded by a bunch of redshirt seniors, juniors, older lineup, but this kid's young.
Hammers that one to left field, and that'll bounce in front of Butler. The leadoff man is aboard. We send at the studio. Matt Schick is standing by. Yeah, guys, Todd and I had the South Bend Regional. Nobody could get Nico Cavadas out. He's actually been somewhat quiet. I don't think he's going to see many strikes, but that's a Notre Dame lineup that has other weapons. We'll see if they can hold on to a lead, something they could not do against a very good and deep Mississippi State lineup. Slavin's the batter. He's 0 for 2 today. A runner at first, nobody out. He's hit it on the ground twice with no success. That's a typical Slavin swing. It's feast or famine. He's not looking to just put the ball in play.
Well, what you love about facing pitchers that can throw mid-90s is they're going to use the fastball, and Slavin's was geared up and ready for it. Just too much of an overswing right there.
Perfect pitch at 95. Junior from Olathe, Kansas, Brady Slavins. Good take.
Great take.
2 and 2.
Now with 2 and 2. Yeah, with 2 and 2, you've just got to assume you're going to get jammed. You got to stay back on the slider, let the ball travel in, look to left field. They've got the shift on him to right, and he may not even be capable, but the typical at-bat lefty-on-lefty matchup is let the ball travel as far as possible. That keeps you on the slider, and if he throws the fastball, you hit the opposite way.
Slices one down the left field line and out of play.
And the last part of that is if he throws the fastball middle in, we'll show you the shift right here. They're all the way the right side. So it means the pitcher's got to pitch to it. But a fastball in doesn't work because he's going to get jammed. And when the hitter lefty gets jammed, it's going down the third baseline, and that'll be a cheap base hit.
Blew it by him at 96.
Yeah. Huge hack from Brady Slavins with 2 strikes. And it's just a nice quality cutter on the outside corner by Villman.
We were just talking about, I mean, that's not a guy who is going to shorten up his swing with 2 strikes.
Not many do. You know, that's why the strikeouts are elevated. That's why it's both for the pitchers and the hitters. And it's just a lost art a little bit with the 2-strike approach where you just choke up, get your hands close to the barrel a little bit, spread out, expand your zone a little bit. And again, that lefty-on-lefty matchup is tough. There's no doubt about it, but you can't look to pull the ball in that situation.
We are going to continue to set another record in strikeouts in college baseball this year. That trend has been on the up and up now for a while, much like it has been in Major League Baseball. The thing I still love about the college game, you still do have guys that bunt. You still do have some small ball mixed in, but there's no question some of that launch angle approach has trickled down to the college game.
And I don't mind it, Mike. You got 2 chances at it. I mean, lift and separate, first 2 strikes. But after that, then let's just give in to just the fact that we've got to put the ball in play and make the defense work.
Benintendi, Fletcher, and now Franklin. Arkansas developing a rep as center fielder U. But Franklin that time got locked up on a pitch that was right around the belt and had the plate.
Yeah, Christian Franklin might have outguessed himself a little bit, looking for the slider, and that ball is just center cut. And a lot of times as a hitter, you might be protecting against the worst, which means you're thinking too much about the opposite of what might come at you, and it gets frozen up. And when the velocity's there, it's hard to pull the trigger.
This is looking like the biggest slump that Christian Franklin has to fight through. Now 0 for his last 13. 11 strikeouts in that over. That's your cleanup hitter. This is your 5-hole hitter. Big hit Bob himself, Robert Moore, 0 for 2 today. Think about this, Todd. This is what amazes me about the job that you guys do as hitters in general. Matt Willitson, the starter, was throwing a bunch of soft stuff. You go from that to a lefty who's throwing mid-90s. That's a heck of an adjustment.
So I told you I talked to Kent Mercury this week, and he told me he would much rather face like Mark McGuire than he would a Juan Pierre type. And I talked to KP, Kyle Peterson, about that exact same thing. And what you're talking about is power versus a guy that's just a little gnat at the plate, and it just makes it tough. And so, again, for me, I'd rather face the power pitchers than somebody like Greg Maddux, who's going to dance around the zone and move around the zone, and you've got to pick and choose, and you can't guess along with him. Those were the guys that were tough. And for this position right here, when it's a fastball and you know it's coming, you just got to stay within yourself and make contact and not overswing. But there's no real secret about what's coming at you.
And of course, that is a trend in really at all levels of the sport now. You see more and more starters departing earlier. And so as a hitter, you don't get to see that same guy 4 times anymore. You got to make these adjustments. 2-2, blew it by him. How about 96, a blistering fastball by Chris Villeman.
Well, here comes the heat from Chris Villeman. 3 strikeouts in a row in the 5th to shut the Razorbacks down.
Been a great ball game thus far. Win or go home. NC State leading Arkansas 2-1. That man Kevin Kopps getting his first start of the year. He was human early on. He's heated up late. We're used to seeing Kevin Kopps, the SEC Pitcher of the Year, possible Golden Spikes Award winner, dice up dudes left and right. First time all year he's given up more than 1 run in an appearance. His longest stint of his career, 7 innings a week ago. And a dramatic come-from-behind win against Nebraska in an elimination game. How deep can he go into this game? That game, he finished with 90 pitches. You see he's at number 78 right now. Meaty part of the order up for the Pack. Butler, Tatum, and Torres. And Butler got him for a home run his last at-bat. Hit a 400-foot fly ball out his first at-bat.
Yeah, Kevin Kopps hasn't missed Johnny Butler's barrel. Big fly ball to center field in the first inning, and then this home run in the 3rd, a 2-run shot. And that's been the difference in this game so far for the Wolfpack. Johnny Butler out of the 3-hole.
Butler, first team All-ACC. Little tapper, and it will be Slavens making the play. 1 up, 1 down for Kevin Kopps here in the top of the 6th inning.
Well, what Kevin Kopps will tell you too, Mike, is he doesn't throw a lot of high-intensity pitches. Even if he gets in a jam, he seems to always be under control, and that, of course, makes a difference with your arm and the stress on your arm and whether or not you can last in games like this. Remember, he went 7 innings Monday night through 90 pitches to secure the win in the regional, and now here he is on a Sunday already at 80 pitches.
You know, a lot of people, of course, speculate where this young man who's been so good this season, where does he project next level? You know, we've got our scout guy, Kylie McDaniel. He thinks he's going to go somewhere in the neighborhood of 4th or 5th round, and I think that might be hard to understand. You saw Matt Hobbs there, the pitching coach. Matt Hobbs says, look, I don't know where he's going to go, but whoever drafts him, you can just put him right in Double-A. Don't even waste time, low A ball. He will be ready for that kind of competition right off the bat. And I think sometimes people have a hard time understanding, well, how could a guy be the most dominating pitcher in college baseball and then he doesn't go in the first round? Well, you hear the term projectable a lot. He doesn't project as a starter, and he doesn't project as a closer, so they look at him perhaps more as a setup guy or a situational guy, but you could make a heck of a living doing that as well.
Yeah, and I think the elite hitters will time that gyro ball up. Now, it is dynamic, and it's something that you don't normally see, mainly because it's got such tight spin. It's different than a curveball in that the curveball just kind of comes up and down. As a hitter, you can see that a little better. And then he can do that. Again, he's got the gyro ball, and he's doing that tight spin on it, and you're looking for it, and he just busts that fastball anywhere he wants, inside or out. Right here, he throws one on the inside corner. And if you're Terrell Tatum, again, that's just unfair because I'm looking for the gyro ball. You didn't throw it to me. But for Kevin Kopps, I think it'll reverse back. He does have 93, 94, so I think it'll reverse back to where his fastball is his primary pitch, and that gyro is just something he uses to get the swing and misses. But right now, that pitch in college is so effective, why would you throw anything else?
First time I ever heard about the gyro pitch, Dice K. Remember the phenomenon that he was when he entered the major leagues?
Yeah, he sent me back to the dugout a few times.
Slow roller. And Robert Moore takes care of business. A 1-2-3 for Kevin Kopps. 2-1 Wolfpack. Just what you might expect in a Game 3 of a Super Regional. How about a one-run game as we get ready for the bottom of the 6th? Almost looks like a soccer score when you think about it. Speaking of which, the Euros continue on Monday with 3 more matches on ESPN and the ESPN app. Scotland meets the Czech Republic. Coverage starting at 8:30 a.m. and then that followed up by Poland and Slovakia at 11:30, and we cap off the day with Spain and Sweden. I'll be looking for Scotland and Czech Republic. Speaking of Czech Republic, yeah, there's the one baseball player that I've ever covered that actually is from the Czech Republic. That's Vojta Menchik taking his regular spot at the hot corner for the Wolfpack. Arkansas hopes the bats heat up here. They've been held in check for just 3 hits so far today. The 1 run was an unearned run. It'll be Smith, Welch, and Opitz. This is the part of the order that has done much of the damage throughout this Super Regional for Arkansas. It has not been the top, it's been the middle and the bottom. Smith rockets one to center, playable for McDonough. Keep this in mind, Todd. We talked about the splits the other day with Arkansas. Look, they've been the best hitting team in the SEC all year long. But if you dig a little bit deeper, against lefties, the batting average is 40 points lower than it is against righties. Several of their home run hitters, including Robert Moore, have hit most of their home runs, in fact all but one in the case of Moore, against right-handers. So NC State, while they might not have the deepest or maybe even the best bullpen, they've got 2 guys, but they are both left-handed, and that's what you want against this Arkansas lineup.
Yeah, we made that comment on Friday night. They've been so dynamic. Has Arkansas's offense, most powerful team in the country with 108 home runs, but most of it's been against the right-handed pitchers. And we thought if they could equalize it, somebody on the other side with a good lefty, then it would make a difference. And now we're about to find out with Villeman. And if Villeman's out of the game, it's Justice right behind him. 2 good lefties with hard fastballs. And Arkansas is going to have to figure it out pretty quick.
There's Justice, who was terrific yesterday. Wasn't officially a save situation, but he essentially saved that game and the season for NC State with his work out of the bullpen. And again, if you look into what Elliot Avent told us a couple of innings ago, expect Evan Justice to be a factor today, even though he threw 48 pitches yesterday. Another hard-throwing lefty for the Wolfpack bullpen. Arkansas has not gone down in order since the first inning. In on the hands and fouled away by Casey Opitz. Opitz has walked, and he has a bunt single. And this, again, is the part of the order that has done what little damage that Arkansas has done today offensively. Casey Opitz might be saying, okay, if you're going to give the Wolfpack that high strike, I'd like it for my guys on the other side.
You know he's saying that, and that's the top of the zone, gets the call. And that makes a difference. Instead of 2-1, it was 1-2. Now he works the count to 2-2.
Opitz drives one. Deep center. Balls are dying there today. I don't know. Maybe the first game or two, that might be trouble, but not so much today. Still a one-run game. Welcome back to the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals, presented by Capital One. Mike Morgan with the two-time All-American World Series MVP, Todd Walker. Game 3 of this Super Regional. It has been an entertaining one, to say the least. We thought we might see a little bit more offense, even with Kevin Kopps on the mound. He started off a little bit bumpy, but has gotten into a groove. He is one pitch away from his career high of 90. He got the start today, his first of the year, in his 33rd appearance. He has appeared in more than half of Arkansas's games this season. In the last 3 innings, much more economical, nearly cutting in half the distribution and workload of pitches. The reigning SEC Pitcher of the Year facing Tresh, Brown, and Menchik. Tresh hits it in foul territory, and twisting into the seats, an ocean of Cardinal red here at Baum-Walker Stadium. Nearly 12,000 fans, only to be outdone by Dudy Noble Field yesterday that had over 14,000 fans. They know how to pack the house in the SEC. Wicked breaking ball there from Kopps.
Well, that's no breaking ball, Mike. That's the gyro. Look at this tilt on this. As a hitter, you see that ball up in your eyeballs. You're saying there's no way that's coming down for a strike. Yep.
It's just disappearing. Again, I'll use the analogy. Of course, that one was a little higher, but it's like melted ice cream. It looks like it's there to hit, and then by the time the hitter swings at it, he misses it by a mile very often when they do offer at it. And you and I had a lengthy discussion as Tresh takes the backward K, that right at the knees. We had a lengthy discussion yesterday on spin rate, and that's what they say about Kevin Kopps. They have trouble picking up his spin rate.
Well, that's why it's important. You talk about spin rates up to 3,000 revolutions per minute on the curveball. It's hard to pick up as a hitter, and especially when you're looking for that pitch, and then he throws the fastball. This guy's so smart. And again, the trick, it's a big chess match between the hitter and the pitcher. The trick is to get in their head, think along with them as a hitter. But as a pitcher, if he's doing the same thing and he can outthink you, you're going to get a lot of freeze-ups like that one.
Pitch number 96 is in there for a strike. Brown didn't know what to do with that one. Devontae Brown, the MVP of the Ruston Regional. NC State just clobbered everybody that they faced in those 3 games en route to 10 runs a game, 30 runs total. And Brown was the top dog at the plate in that situation. There is Patrick Wicklander, and I must admit, we did not expect to see him warming up today. 99 pitches in the win in Game 1. This hit in the air and hard to right center field, leaping and making the catch. What a play by Matt Goodhart.
That had extra bases written all over it. Devontae Brown, the MVP of the Ruston Regional, can swing it. He had 3 home runs in Ruston. And how about this? The bullet to right field. Matt Goodhart showing his ups and takes extra bases away from Brown.
That ball got to him in a hurry. He did not have a whole lot of time to react. Tough play for the right fielder. He makes it. Pitch number 100. A new career high for Kevin Kopps.
I think you can throw that number out the window, Mike. I think Kevin Kopps will tell you himself, my arm never really gets tired. It's the body. And if the body feels good, he might throw 200 pitches.
The rubber-armed magician from Sugar Land, Texas, now at 101 and seemingly getting better with every inning. Trying to make it 8 in a row if he can get Wojtek Menchik out. Just got a piece to spoil that one. Kevin Kopps came in as the nation's ERA leader at 0.66, the WHIP leader at 0.73. Strike 3 called. Look out, folks. Kevin Kopps is in a groove, and that is bad news for NC State. Now we'll see if Arkansas can put some runs on the board as we stretch in Fayetteville. Well, Arkansas didn't have to make a call to the Kopps. They were already here before the first pitch was thrown. Kevin Kopps getting his first start of 2021. And while he got off to a bumpy start, he has been terrific since. The only runs of the game off of Kopps, a 2-spot in the 3rd inning. A home run by Johnny Butler. However, Arkansas has been unable to scratch much today. 1 run on 3 hits, and Villeman has been terrific out of the bullpen thus far. Battles to start things off. Rocks 1 foul. It'll be the 9-hole hitter, Jalen Battles, and then back to the top with Goodhart and Caden Wallace. Battles has walked twice. Arkansas, in the last 5 super regionals, they've all gone the distance. 2012 against Baylor, they won in 3. 2015 against Missouri State, they won in 3. 2018 against South Carolina, they won in 3. And the last super regional, 2019, they defeated Ole Miss in 3 games. Ground ball up the middle, fielded and thrown perfectly by Jarrett. Nice play.
We talked about JT Jarrett earlier. Dad linked Jarrett, so consistent at shortstop. That's a tough play for a second baseman, going across, throwing across your body, and make the accurate throw on a fast Jalen Battles. Nice job for first out.
You saw the scratch on the elbow of Goodhart. That's because he made this great catch on the warning track. He'll gladly scuff up an elbow, draw a little blood to keep the season alive for Arkansas. Razorbacks have trailed this game from the middle of the 3rd on and haven't scored a run since the 2nd inning. Goodhart at the plate is 0 for 3, a pair of strikeouts. ESPN's Monday Night Baseball, featuring the first game of a big 4-game series between the Cubs and the New York Mets. Coverage beginning at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN. Mets enjoying a fine year in the East. The Cubs half game behind Milwaukee in the Central. Arkansas has 7 players in the bigs, including Andrew Benintendi of the Royals, James McCann of the Mets. We talked about Carlos Rodon, former Wolfpack pitcher who got the win today, and Trey Turner. Those two were on Coach Avent's 2013 squad that made it to Omaha. Trey Turner was kind of a scrawny kid down in Lake Worth, Florida, that was not getting a whole lot of attention. One of his assistant coaches said, "I'm telling you, we need to sign this guy quick." Turned out to be a pretty good sign.
This is a good sign for Matt Goodhart. Now you get in a fastball count, 3-2. You know it's coming. You just got to keep the heartbeat down, make a good swing.
Golfed to left, but right at Butler. Second out of the inning here in the home half of the 7th as we say hello to Matt Schick. Wow, great job by Link Jarrett in his first full season as head coach at Notre Dame. A guy who has paid his dues, great player at Florida State, grinding his way as an assistant and a head coach at some smaller schools, got the job in South Bend. Turn that program around. This might turn the game around. High and deep to left field, and we are tied.
Kind of had a feeling this was coming, Mike. A fastball pitcher against a great fastball hitting team. Caden Wallace out of the 2-hole, the freshman, with the base hit in the 5th inning, times up that fastball and puts a little spark in this atmosphere in this stadium. The home run for Caden Wallace, and that was a missile.
To the count on Brady Slavens. The home run by Caden Wallace, the freshman from Greenbrier, Arkansas, was his 14th. Arkansas with its first run of the game since the bottom of the 2nd. And really, there hasn't been much hard contact off of Villeman before that shot, but boy, did he barrel it up. Brady Slavens is 0 for 3.
That's only the first run that the top 3 hitters in this Arkansas lineup out of the last 2 games that they've scored. What a good time for the freshman Caden Wallace to come through.
Oh, you had to wonder, how much longer could the nation's leading home run team be kept in the ballpark? 108 home runs on the season, and really hadn't flirted with one until that bomb by Wallace.
Well, you asked me the question earlier about the soft throwing starter, Willitson, and then now all of a sudden you got to face 95, and I took off into left field. I know you wanted me to stay straight up the middle. I took off on a tangent with Mark McGuire, but this is a situation where you face a guy enough and you start to time up that fastball and it's straight enough, you can get a hold of it, and it was only a matter of time, I think, for this Hog offense would time it up.
For the record, I enjoyed the tangent. And I enjoyed the fact that you got back in the center lane.
It's back to what I said. You know, you got to face the pitcher enough, and then all of a sudden it becomes the hitter's advantage. Here we go.
Slavens got under that one and jerks it foul. So he will see a 9th pitch of this at bat. The noise becoming deafening at Baum-Walker Stadium. They've been just waiting to explode with something to cheer about. 12,000 strong. Great battle. Villeman, the flame-throwing lefty, against Brady Slavens, one of the top slugging first basemen in the SEC all year long. Challenged him. Ground ball into the shift, and that will retire the side. However, Arkansas, new life, has tied it up. Caden Wallace, special delivery.
Caden Wallace low and in with the fastball. Milliman delivers, and Caden Wallace answers the home run. We're tied at 2.
Now batting for NC State, number 15, JT Jarrett.
2-2 game. He is the two-time All-American and the College World Series MVP, Todd Walker. I am Mike Morgan. Thank you so much for stopping by. A magical quadruple header here on ESPN2. And Kevin Kopps, a magical and somewhat mythical season. A chance to add one heck of a chapter. 32 appearances this year. He didn't start a single game. He's never gone more than 7 innings in a game. He's done that. He's never gone more than 90 pitches. He's done that. And it might take some actual cops to get him off the mound right now. There's a leadoff single. JT Jarrett, he's 2 for 3. But you and I were talking during the break, Todd Walker. There's just not an option right now that seems to be nearly as good as even a slightly fatigued Kevin Kopps.
No, this is Kevin Kopps' game to win or lose. He's in for the duration. It may go 20 innings and he'll still be standing out there. Elastic man, Kevin Kopps. He'll be in there the duration for sure.
Leadoff man aboard. Top of the order. Murr drops down a bunt. The play will be to first. The throw is on target, and the sacrifice is true. And Jarrett, who runs well in scoring position for the Wolfpack, and a dangerous part of the order with Tyler McDonough and Johnny Butler on deck. Kevin Kopps really hasn't had a stressful inning since that third, where he walked Murr and gave up the home run to Butler. Since then, Kevin Kopps has done Kevin Kopps things, carving up a very talented NC State lineup. That one burns the outside corner at 92. The Wolfpack have had opportunities this series with runners in scoring position. They have not capitalized very often. 2 for 15. This one is socked into the gap in left center. Angling back, leaping and making the catch. That one had some extra carry on it. And Caden Wallace, the hitting hero, just made a huge catch in left field.
That'll make the Hogs breathe a sigh of relief. This ball was touched a little bit to left field with some backspin. Those balls usually do carry. Wallace goes back to the wall after the home run and makes a huge play in left field for the second out.
So Johnny Butler is at the plate, and he is seeing the ball well against Kevin Kopps. He might be the only guy in the lineup that's seeing it well today. Hit a 400-foot fly ball to center for an out in the first, tagged him for a home run in the third, and then bounced out to first in the sixth inning.
And this is what Hobbs is talking about. It's not about what pitch we're going to throw, because we know it's who do you want to face, Johnny Butler or Terrell Tatum on deck. He's also a left-handed hitter. He's got 2 base hits in this game, but you're right. Johnny Butler's been the one that has looked most comfortable against Kevin Kopps.
The NCAA Super Regionals coverage continuing tomorrow on the ESPN family of networks. For more information, go to NCAA.com. We know at least one Super Regional will make it to tomorrow, probably more. But Virginia and Dallas Baptist are already locked in for a third and decisive game tomorrow. This is a third and decisive game today. Mike Morgan, Todd Walker with you at a sold-out and electric Baum-Walker Stadium. Arkansas trying to make their third consecutive World Series for the first time in school history. And not surprisingly, because of the reasons we just alluded to, Johnny Butler gets the free pass. Updated line on Kevin Kopps now with 109 pitches. He threw 21 yesterday as he disposed of 6 NC State batters in a hurry, 6 up, 6 down. He's been more vulnerable today, particularly early on. And now, in addition to some of the most electric stuff in college baseball, he's pitching on some guts as well.
Nice job by Opitz stopping that ball. That could have been trouble. He shifts over to his right, keeps it in front of him.
Tatum, home run cut, comes up empty. Count evens, 1 ball, 1 strike to the designated hitter. Swing and a miss. And again, Opitz, who is as good of a catch-and-throw receiver as there is in college baseball. What a luxury.
And this is the part that you really have to be confident in, that your catcher's going to keep it in front of you. That allows Kevin Kopps to really break off this gyro pitch and hit the dirt. And right now on a 1-2 count, that's what Terrell Tatum's going to see.
Proud papa right there, Rick Kopps. He's probably more nervous than his son right now, looking on.
And this is where this pitch matters. We talked a lot about what to decide when to swing, when not. You got to be in swing mode right here, and Kevin Kopps knows that. This is going to be the high spin rate gyro ball that just goes from high to low, and as a hitter, you got to go after it. You can't decide whether or not it's going to be a ball or a strike. It always looks good. That's a nice take.
2-2. That's a really good take.
Yeah, that's tougher than it looks. I mean, again, you've got to be ready to go right here. It's a big situation for the Wolfpack, and you know it's coming, and you got to be in swing mode.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Kopps does it again, and the crowd is in an uproar in Fayetteville.
The NCAA Baseball Super Regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
A performance for the ages by Kevin Kopps for the second consecutive week. He's the reason why Arkansas is still around, facing elimination a week ago on a Monday night against Nebraska. They pull him out of the bullpen, and he worked 7 innings in relief. Today, Dave Van Horn telling us earlier, he just couldn't live with himself if he took a chance and didn't start his best pitcher. And that's what he's done today. Kevin Kopps, in his only start of the year, got off to a bumpy start, been outstanding since. They'll hope that NC State's Evan Justice can be outstanding like he was yesterday. That'll be the hope for Elliott Avent and company. He is the one that shut down the Razorbacks en route to a Game 2 victory yesterday. He threw 48 pitches. He worked 2 2/3, and you're going to see him pump in a whole lot of fastballs. It's the 4th time this year Evan Justice has gone back-to-back games, and if that last pitch is any indication, the velo's feeling pretty good. 97. Franklin trying to snap out of an 0 for 13 funk with 11 strikeouts during that span. Two and two.
Yeah, the beauty of this situation is you know what's coming. So again, as a hitter, you've just got to get geared up a little earlier. Get the foot down, get in position to get ready to swing it before he lets the ball go.
Tardy on that fastball at 96.
Well, Evan Justice was equally as good as you just saw right there. He was yesterday. 2 2/3, only 2 hits, struck out 4. An electric fastball up to 97 miles an hour, and he just carved up this Hogs offense yesterday in the win where NC State took the 6-5 victory.
Well, they don't call him Big Hit Bob for nothing. He has provided several of those moments throughout the year. Regular season, SEC tournament, regional. He's 0 for 3 today. Arkansas's leading home run man with 16. Moore is 0 for his last 7, and he's down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Evan Justice. Hits it high. Rather routine in left center. Catch will be made by Butler for the 2nd out of the inning. Take a look at the bracket. Stanford disposing of the Red Raiders in 2 games. Vanderbilt doing the same to East Carolina. Following our ball game here, we will send you to Tucson, Arizona for the rubber game between the Wildcats and the Ole Miss Rebels.
Look out for Stanford. They were 3rd in the Pac-12, but they beat Arizona and beat Oregon 2 out of 3 this year. Those were the top 2 teams, so they're playing well.
Cohen Smith 0 for 3. Another guy with pop in this Arkansas lineup that leads the country in home runs. 109 on the year. After the bomb by Caden Wallace to tie it at 2. A breaking ball right through the front door for strike 3. 3
That's
up, 3 down.
That's where it starts to be a little unfair. You're gearing up for 97, drops a breaking ball on you, no chance.
We welcome you back to the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. What a ball game, what a series on a great day of action in Super Regional play here on ESPN2. Mike Morgan, the All-American Todd Walker, 2-2 game. We have reached the 9th. The story is the man on the mound, Kevin Kopps, breaking all kinds of records for him in terms of pitch count, length of stint, and of course it's his first start of the season. In his 33rd appearance, he has gotten better as the game has gone along, and he's now thrown 115 pitches. His previous high was 90. Hammering that one foul is Jose Torres. Dangerous part of the lineup still. Again, it's a rather long lineup for NC State. Torres, Tresh, and Brown. Torres has already hit 2 home runs in this Super Regional. Down in the count 0-2. Hit high. Hit deep to left. Backing up is Wallace. It's gone! Third home run of the series for the freshman shortstop Jose Torres.
Yeah, you said it, Mike. This guy's got one swing groove, and it's to elevate the ball on the pull side. The third home run for Jose Torres, and I think that'll be it for Kevin Kopps.
That is the first time they've gotten to Kevin Kopps since the third inning. That's when Johnny Butler touched him for a home run. A whole lot of guts. And a whole lot of cheering going on for the effort by Kevin Kopps today.
Yeah, Kopps meant to put that in the dirt. Couldn't do it. Just enough elevation for Jose Torres to get under it. He knew it was gone, and NC State in the ninth takes the lead.
Hey, tell everybody else. Tell everybody else.
Rick Kopps looking on, the father of Kevin Kopps, who gave a Herculean effort today. Likely the last time we'll see him in an Arkansas uniform if this game holds up. He certainly is hoping that it does not. So too are 12,000 fans at Baum-Walker Stadium. Kevin Kopps gave everything that you could possibly ask out of a young man. They wouldn't be here without him. And this might not be a one-run game without him. They'll turn it over to Patrick Wicklander, who was the pitching hero on Friday in a Game 1 victory for Arkansas. He threw 99 pitches. We'll see what he's got here today, Todd.
Well, mostly fastballs. He's going to mix in the slider change. Both fastballs, 4-seam up to 94, and then the 2-seam cutter.
Still a tough part of the lineup with Luca Tresh. Plenty of power in his bat. 15 home runs on the season. As Wicklander hits the outside corner for a strike. Looking ahead to the bottom of the ninth for Arkansas. It's the bottom third of the order. But that bottom third has really led the way for much of the last two games. Nice pick by Battles for the first out of the ninth. And starting things off in the bottom of the ninth will be none other than Charlie Welch, who's been one of the hottest and best stories going for this Arkansas team.
And for Patrick Wicklander, remember, he started the season out of the pen. I mean, he made all 10 starts in the SEC schedule, all 10 weekends. He became the Friday night guy after Game 1 against Alabama. But he's used to coming out of the pen. And again, when you're throwing strikes consistently, that's what they want to see from these guys. Fill up the zone early.
Devontae Brown, the batter, 0 for 3. We told you the story about Wicklander on Friday. Young man all of a sudden lost a ton of weight, nearly 30 pounds, felt very weak. His roommates were concerned, said, "You got to go to the hospital, man." We did find out that he has type 1 diabetes. That is a pump for insulin, which is what diabetes requires at times. Since then, he's been fine. He's put the weight back on. He's got his strength back. Hasn't affected him at all. He's been really their ace in the rotation this year. Another play on the infield. This will be Smith. Guns it across the diamond for the second out.
Nice job by Smith over at third base. Over to his right. That is a long throw. That's why on the left side of the infield, you have got to have a cannon. A nice play, accurate throw for the second out.
2 down for Menchik. Strike at the knees. Menchik is 0 for 3. You mentioned that Arkansas defense. They haven't made an error all weekend long. Menchik drives one into the alley in left center field. And he will try to leg it into a double. Slide head first. He's there. Now a runner in scoring position as the Wolfpack will try to pad a 1-run lead here in the 9th.
Yeah, Arkansas has played great this whole series. I mean, banged out 21 runs in the first game. Lost 6-5 yesterday, but was in that one. And defensively, like you mentioned, they have been flawless.
Nine-hole hitter is J.T. Jarrett. A pair of singles and 3 trips to the plate. Spiked in the dirt, and that'll allow an extra 90 feet of real estate for Menchik as he trots to third.
And that might factor in, Mike, because that takes away a pitch from Wicklander. Again, we expect Opus to just about pick everything, but you don't want to make that mistake again, especially if you get a 2-strike count and spike it in the dirt, give him a free run.
Tap to the left side. Again, that infield getting a lot of work. Battles. Perfect. Side retired. The #1 team in the country will need a rally in the 9th to keep their season alive. Matt, thank you much. Ole Miss, one of 6 SEC teams left in Super Regional play, or should I say 5, after Tennessee knocked off a fellow SEC school. And LSU. Arkansas backs against the wall, the #1 SEC school. They won the regular season. They won the tournament. #1 in the country in every poll imaginable. They won game 1 by 19 runs, and here they are in a 1-run hole in the bottom of the 9th, facing the closer, Evan Justice. Off the end of the bat and quickly down in the count is Charlie Welch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Welch, does he have one more heroic moment left in him? In a somewhat surprising and random stat, Arkansas has not hit a home run in the 9th inning all year long. They lead the country with 109 long balls, but they've never gotten one in the 9th. They will certainly be in search of one here. Or just get on base would certainly be nice. You saw the graphic in terms of #1 seeds, #1 overall national seeds to lose in the Super Regionals. It's rare, but it has happened. And again, only one time since the format began in 1999. As the #1 overall seed won the title. That was Miami in 1999. Since then, we've gone 20 years with the #1 overall seed not bringing home the national championship. Tapper to the left side. Charging is Menchik. Double clutch and delivers a perfect strike to Murr for the first out. As we take a look at tonight's Capital One rewarding performance, Jose Torres with his 3rd home run in as many games.
He's got the home run swing grooved, and the best pitcher in the country, Kevin Kopps, in the 9th inning. Jose Torres puts the Wolfpack ahead in this one, and now the Razorbacks only with 2 outs to burn.
Opitz and then Battles behind him. 8-9 in the lineup. Casey Opitz. He has been a staple of this program for a while. He wants to get back to another College World Series. Another tapper to the left side. This time it's Torres. And NC State is 1 out away from their first World Series in 8 years. It would be only the 3rd in the history of the program. Jalen Battles, the final hope. He's walked twice, he's grounded out once. And Justice just keeps pumping in heaters. That one at 96.
Well, Battles only has 6 home runs, but he's got a lot of pop.
NC State has been great on the road all year long. 18-4. That's the second best mark in the country. They were blown out in game 1. They were trailing 2-0 in game 2, but they won it. New hope here and a chance to pick up another road win in the most hostile of environments. 1-1. Check swing bouncer racing to first is Battles. He doesn't beat it. NC State wins it. Going to Omaha for the first time since 2013. Two great head coaches with a whole lot of respect for one another shaking hands. Dave Van Horn and Elliott Avent in his 25th year as the head coach of the Wolfpack. They started 1-8 in ACC play. Last out, Battles, foot race. The Wolfpack, one of the top fielding teams in the country throughout the year, taking care of most every play that came their way defensively. You can't say enough about what they got on the mound. They held Arkansas to 2 runs on 4 hits. They did it with a couple of freshmen. And then Evan Justice, for the second straight day, slams the door on Arkansas. A stunner as the #1 national seed, the #1 team in the country, falls in 2 straight games to the Wolfpack. NC State with just their 3rd World Series all time, the 2nd under Coach Avent. NC State advances. They will take on the Cardinal of Stanford. What a game. What a series. Todd Walker, some final thoughts.
Well, NC State first half of the season didn't play very well. Walked into this super regional, 17 wins in their last 21. The second half, they were the hottest team, and they showed it here. Lost the first game, win the next 2. Congratulations to the Wolfpack.
That's going to do it for us, for Todd Walker and our outstanding crew in Fayetteville. This is Mike Morgan saying so long for now. NC State pulls off a stunner. The Wolfpack are going to Omaha as we send it back to studio.
What a remarkable finish and accomplishment for NC State. And another year will go by without the #1 overall seed winning a national championship. It's happened once, happened back in 1999 since this format with Super Regionals was introduced. Mike Rooney, #1 goes down. Let's focus right now on NC State. That first game of this Super, they lost 21-2. And then they went back-to-back 1-run games. How did they do it?
Yeah, I'd say, Matt, first of all, nothing seemed to faze these kids. You know, remember, as Todd mentioned, they started ACC play 1-8 this year. Think about how spooky that is. And then to go into Fayetteville, one of the most intimidating environments in college baseball, and face this team, this Arkansas team that was beautifully put together. But NC State did it with a really athletic position player group, one of the best offense-defense combinations you have out there, and then 3 arms today, Justice, Villeman, Willadson. Those kids were brilliant, pitching against the best pitcher in college baseball this year in Kevin Kopps.
Kevin Kopps, 8 innings, 9 strikeouts, but again, gave up that big home run from Torres in the night. Looking at some of the live pictures here, and you see Elliott Avent has been there a long time. And remember, he got back to Omaha in 2013. This is their 3rd appearance in Omaha overall, but just their 2nd in the last 53 years. here, Mike Rooney. What an accomplishment. What more can you say about Coach Avent and how he was able to pull this team together?
Yeah, and I would say, Matt, there's maybe no other program that's had as much postseason heartbreak as NC State. And think about the 2013 Omaha team. You have Trey Turner and Carlos Rodon on that. Hey, it's hard to get big leaguers of that caliber onto a college campus. So, yeah, this has been a long time coming. Elliott Avent and his whole staff, they've hosted home regionals and lost. But, boy, did they go in the front door this time.
Pretty remarkable. Let's circle back here to what we saw in the later innings in this game. Kevin Kopps got the start in this game. You can second guess it all day long, but he pitched great. But yes, NC State got a big home run late with Jose Torres. He had not hit back-to-back home runs in terms of consecutive games in his career, and he's able to do a home run, hit a home run in each of the 3 games in the Super Regional. What'd you see from that at-bat and what Kevin Kopps provided as well?
Yeah, I'd say Jose Torres is kind of microcosm of the NC State season. He came in with to the year with a bunch of prospect hype and struggled and got off to a disappointing start. But what a finish for Jose Torres, who's clearly an extremely talented kid. And, you know, it just got that gyro ball hanging up there, and the ball does get out of this ballpark. I would just say this, Matt, when Caden Wallace hit that home run in the 8th to tie it up, you just felt like, okay, now here come the Hogs. But NC State just wasn't having it. The mental toughness of these kids to even believe that they could go into Fayetteville and win this series, and then still believe it after getting run off the field in Game 1. Just a remarkable performance by the Wolfpack.
Anything about Kevin Kopps, Mike Rooney? I mean, there's always going to be the armchair quarterbacking. Did he stay in too long? 118 pitches, second appearance in the Super. What'd you make of it?
Yeah, I would say this, Matt. It's one of the greatest performances we've had in a long time in college baseball by a pitcher. He probably is going to win the Golden Spikes Award, which is our Heisman Trophy. He'd be the first reliever to win it since Darren Dreifert in the early 90s. Again, it's one of the most, if you look at Kevin Kopps' 6-year career, where he started, he redshirted in 2016 to be in the best pitcher in college baseball, maybe in 5-6 years. What a development story, and good on Kevin Kopps, but obviously NC State just was one run better today.
Yeah, Kevin Kopps, his ERA was sub .8 going in, had only given up 5 runs all year. Today he gives up the 3, but he does start the game, a career high in terms of length that he was in there. But NC State does get the win 3-2. They are headed back to Omaha for the first time since 2013 and the second time under Elliott Avent. What a moment. Mike Morgan, Todd Walker were on the call. There's the Gatorade bath. He's dried off a little bit now. Send it out there live, guys.
I don't think he'd be bothered by any substance, foreign or otherwise, being poured on his head after this historic day for Coach Elliott Avent in his 25th year, second trip to Omaha, as you mentioned. Coach, you and I had a lengthy discussion a couple of weeks ago in Charlotte. And we talked about the fact that this team starts off 1-8. They're not very deep. You've had to shuffle the rotation. You got essentially a 14-man roster. But you told me then this was one of your favorite teams, and you thought they had the makings of an Omaha team. Why is this team so special?
They're just a really good group of players. They're committed to one another. They've been together and lived together for 4 years now. And when you live together, go to class together, study together, do all the social things, you become bonded, and this was just a committed group, and they're tough and they're smart, and I'm just so excited for them to get to take this trip to Omaha because they believed early on when we were 1-8 that we could rebound, and they stuck with it. Just very proud of them, but very happy for them too. When they walk into Omaha for the first time, it's a thrill of a lifetime and something they'll never forget.
Coach, rough start to start the season. You turned it around, big second half. Rough start in this Super Regional, and you turned it around also. What did you say to the team after the first game?
Nothing. You don't have to tell. When you got a good team and good players and smart team, you just do what Coach Esposito taught me a long time ago. He taught me and Coach Tanner, just stay out of their way. Get good players and leave them alone, and that's what I tried to do. And just really proud of this group.
Coach, take me through when you guys find out that Kevin Kopps is going to be the starter. What is discussed, and also how much, I know it was only 6 batters, but how much having some of your guys get to see him yesterday, how much did that help today?
Well, it helped. We obviously have watched a lot of film on him, and you can watch all the film on Kevin Kopps you want to, and it's not going to help you when you get in the batter's box. But to watch him and Opitz, the catcher, I think you got to give him a lot of credit. Those two guys work together unbelievably well. He knows he can throw that cutter, breaking ball in the dirt, and Opitz is going to block everything. And then he mixed more fastballs in today than we expected. But you're talking about an absolute unbelievable pitcher as Kevin Kopps. I'm just glad I got to witness him because I've been coaching a long time, but that kid's very, very special.
Coach, you got some special starters yourself with Johnston, Highfield, and Willitson. But what can you say about your two relievers, Villeman and Justice, and the job they did in this super?
They were unbelievable. Willie did a great job, too. Willitson did a great job. This is one of the great environments in all of college baseball. They got a couple things going there, bases loaded one time, first and second. And it's tough for a guy to pitch in this environment, especially as young as Willitson. I was so proud of him for how he did this game, and also what he did in the ACC championship game was unbelievable. But anyway, just so proud of Willie. And then Villeman and Justice came in and were really, really good. Justice, I thought, had better stuff today than he had yesterday.
He was outstanding. Coach, I know Wolfpack Nation congratulates you. Thank you so much for taking the time. Second trip to Omaha for Coach Avent, third overall for NC State. Pulling off a shocker here. Let's send it to studio and Matt Schick.
What's going on? Welcome into All ACC alongside Jordan Cornette. I'm Kelsey Riggs, and we had a big day today, Jordan.
All smiles.
All smiles right now. NC State, man, the weekend that they have had has been incredible. Let's show you how it all started, because this is not the tune that we were singing a couple days ago. On Friday, Jordan, going up against number 1 seed Arkansas, game 1, things got out of hand. They lost 21-2, tying the record for the largest loss by a super regional team since the tournament expanded in 1999. But you know what? Short-term memory, right? Next game, game 2, Pack flipped the script. They take down Arkansas 6-5 behind a stellar pitching performance. Was it a fluke? Was it not a fluke?
Do they have the Big Sean bounce back in front of them, trying to get one more win, and that gets you to Omaha here. NC State taking on number 1 Arkansas, and Kevin Kopps, SEC Pitcher of the Year, normally their star reliever, gets the ball as a starter here, virtually unhittable all season. Top of first, no score. Jose Torres has been a star for this NC State team, but he grounds out to third here to end the inning, forcing Kopps to throw 21 pitches in the first, but no runs to show for it. Bottom of second, still no score. Runner on second, 2 outs. Charlie Welsh doubles down the right field line. Arkansas on the board first, Kelsey, and here we go. It's the number 1 team in the country, right? Later in the inning, same score. At home, bases loaded, 2 outs. Matt Willitson gets Matt Goodart to ground out to second to end the inning. Okay, Razorbacks still up 1-0. Top of third, same score, 1 on 2 outs for Johnny Butler. Butler clears the wall for a 2-run home run. Those are the first runs allowed by Kopps in the tournament. Butler's first home run since May 16th. NC State leads this one 2-1. Bottom of seventh now, same score, bases empty, 2 outs for Caden Wallace. Wallace doing some work of his own, a solo shot left, and this one all knotted up at 2, the way it should be to get to Omaha. A great game, top of 8th, same score, 2 on, 2 out. Terrell Tatum up. And Kopps, I mean, the guy's a stud for a reason. Pressure bust pipes, doesn't bust. Kopps is here, gets him to chase, strikes out 9, throws 114 pitches in 8 innings, game still tied at 2. Top 9, same score. Pitch 118 for Kopps. Sayonara. Jose Torres, solo shot. He's hit a home run in every game of this series. Pack on top, 3-2. Bottom of 9th, Pack 1 out away, Kelsey Riggs. Forget about 21-2. The final out to get to Omaha.
Three through it.
Evan Justice on a bump. Jalen battles a dribbler. That's the final out. NC State advances to their 3rd College World Series. They did the unthinkable. Down goes Goliath. Number 1 Arkansas packing bags. NC State on their way to Omaha. Arkansas can't believe it. Coach Elliott Avent postgame with Mike Morgan and Todd Walker. Let's go. Really don't know if our stat guy and friend Vic is going to throw another one like this together on a full screen for quite some time.
Okay.
The Pack become the first team to make the College World Series after losing a super regional game by Kelsey 15 runs. On Friday, the Pack, of course, like you mentioned, lost 21-2 to the Razorbacks, tied for the largest loss by a team in a super regional. Mike and Todd, with a little bit more, they were on the call. They have thoughts.
Historic victory for NC State. They've been playing baseball for over 100 years. It's only the third time that they will go to Omaha for the College World Series as they knock off the #1 team in the land, the Arkansas Razorbacks, 3-2 in the third and decisive game of the Fayetteville Super Regional. Mike Morgan, Todd Walker. What an unbelievable weekend it was. Arkansas, a 19-run victory in Game 1. NC State had to rally in Game 2 to win. And then NC State had to rally again in Game 3 to pick up another road win, their 19th of the season. The story for much of the day was a player from the losing side, the best pitcher all year in college baseball, Kevin Kopps, getting his first start of the year. Todd, he pitched his guts out.
Well, he pitched dynamic. 8+ innings into the ninth, 7 hits, 9 strikeouts on that gyro ball. And the most important line was the fact that he lasted all the way through the ninth. Had the 0-2 count on Jose Torres. Wanted to put this ball in the dirt. Left it over the plate. Jose Torres out of the 5-hole with his 3rd home run in 3 straight games in this super regional. Puts NC State ahead in the top of the ninth. And they would hold on to win this one, Mike.
We knew NC State not deep at all. They only had 3 pitchers to work with today. Willitson, Villeman, Justice, they all came through.
Yeah, I mean, they were impressive. And Sam Highfield yesterday, the starter for NC State, was dynamic. Willitson did a great job at the start. Villeman and Justice, the 2 lefties with the big arms, finished it off. See right there, Jalen battles with the tapper to end the season for Arkansas. And NC State heads to Omaha.
A team that started off 1-8 in conference play is going to the World Series. The Gatorade bath has never felt better. 3-2. The Wolfpack win it. They're going to Omaha.
Kept their head down and worked, Kelsey. 1-8, forget about it. Just go out there and win games. That's absolutely what the Pack did. Headed to the big dance. 3rd College World Series appearance in program history. First team to advance to the World Series after losing by 15, as we mentioned. The 4th road win in the championship, improving to 19-4 on the road. 2nd best in Division I, and they've eliminated an SEC opponent in the NCAA championship. That's the first time since 2012, Kelsey Riggs.